In this exercise, you are tasked with testing network ACLs and security groups in your AWS environment. I will walk through how I have done this in my AWS account using the default VPC. So from my AWS console, I'm going to go to the VPC management page. And from here, I'm going to take a look at my network ACLs. As you can see, I've created a new network ACL for this exercise. I'm going to associate this network ACL with the subnet that my instance is deployed in. It's going to be this subnet ending in 661. Now, to start with, our network ACL denies all inbound and outbound traffic to all ports. This is the outbound rules. These are the inbound rules. They're both deny all. And this is the default rule, and you can't remove it. So now I'm going to go to my security groups, which is right here. And I've also created a security group for this exercise. As you can see, the security group also doesn't allow any inbound connections. It does allow all outbound connections. Now let's go to my EC2 instance. And let's take a look at the security groups that are assigned to my instance. It's the same security group we just looked at that's assigned to this instance. And as you can see, there are no inbound rules set up yet. So now I'm going to try to make a network connection to this instance using its public IP address. So I'm going to go to my SSH console here on my local machine. And from here, I'm going to try to make a network connection to the instance on port 22. I'm going to use the NC utility, which would be the same as using SSH or testing for SSH connectivity. And I'm going to copy the IP address of the instance, public IP, and port 22. So the connection failed. Now let's try to open up the ACL to allow traffic. Now remember, I didn't have any network ACL rules that are actually allowing inbound traffic. So I'm going to go back to my network ACLs, the VPC console. And from my network ACL, I'm going to go ahead and add an inbound rule that will allow all traffic to all ports. And I'll also add an outbound rule to facilitate the network packet round-trip traffic. So that's the inbound rule, allowing all. I'm going to add the same thing on the outbound side. All right, so let's go back to my terminal window and try the SSH connectivity test again. This is the second time. As you can see, it still doesn't work. And this is because the security group still doesn't allow any inbound traffic. So I need to add a security group rule to allow this traffic. So let's update the security group to allow this. So I'm going to go back to my security groups and find the security group that's assigned to the instance. And I'm going to add a rule that will allow a connection on port 22. And for this demonstration, I'm just going to allow access from my home IP address. Now let's try the SSH test again. Great. Now it works, as you can see. So now let's try to update the network ACL and see what happens if we deny the outbound traffic. So I'm going to go into my network ACL and look at the outbound rules. And I'm going to remove the rule that allows outbound traffic. Let's try a test again. So our attempt to reach the instance no longer works. And this is because the network ACL outbound rule blocked the return packets from the SSH server back to my local host. And this effectively disables the ability to establish a TCP handshake. I hope that running through this exercise helped you to have a better feel for how network ACLs and security groups can be used to control traffic to resources deployed in your cloud environment.